regard 2 spades as the normal bid there.
Right, and now they're going to pay the penalty, I suppose. Well, depending on the lead, maybe or maybe not. Let's see. They had 2 certain spade losers and a certain heart loser.
They get a club away on the heart.
Yeah, you know. Now, did you read what Bill Jacobs just wrote? The reason why France didn't pick New Zealand?
Yes, I had a private message as well. I heard they had a bad loss to New Zealand in 2016, but not sure if this is true.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I see, yeah.
Last year in Wrocław. Bill Jacobs was playing then, so he knows. Not for New Zealand, obviously, but for Australia. Once bitten, twice shy. Yeah.
Well, we can see that to beat 4 spades, they would need a heart ruff.
Yeah, but would anyone lead a heart?
Yes, but if East wins the first round, North wins the first round of trumps with the ace, he can switch to the singleton heart.
Ah, that's right. South has to let it go, you know, say it gets a diamond or a club lead, and now a low spade from the Declarer towards the Queen Jack. Well, you need nerves of steel, David, to duck, because Declarer could have the ace. I mean, he has no entry to the dummy, you see, and if you play low and the Queen holds, you just know that you've done the wrong thing.
Yes, I thought the same as you, but I suppose if, as Declarer has no entry, he would play ace and another, if he had the ace. Anyway, that was obviously the best leader club. Good start for the defence.
Yes, it looks like one down. A good start for USA when they stopped in 3 spades at this table. Sweden bid to 4, and that contract had no play. And went 3 down even. Wow.
Well, now I look at it, I mean 5 diamonds, although it was sort of reasonable because it's only going probably one down.
Yes.
Yes. Although it looks reasonable from that point of view, if you look only at Ola Rimstedt's hand, it was quite a bold bid, was it not? His partner had done nothing except, well no, I suppose that's not quite true. No, his partner had doubled a spade, so could expect some support. I still think it might, because he had some defence against the late game with singleton and ace-1 of trumps.
Yeah, but sadly he wasn't on lead. If West had been Declarer, he would have passed. Then he had a very good lead over his singleton heart. he was scared now that the hard rough wouldn't be found.
Well, he did have the ace. Sorry, had the ace of trumps, so he had a chance to switch to the singleton. Anyway, it's all very close. Only just one trick in each either way, so you can't possibly judge competitive hands more accurately than that.
Now, this is a very sound three-spade opening. Well, you may argue, well, sound? Really? Well, if you look at all the preempts over the past week, you will see that this is a very sound opening at the 3 level. They usually have 6 cards when they open at the 3 level. It's a rarity that they have 7. Then again, they have the dreaded 7-2-2-2.
Well, most of the 6-card preempts we've seen have been headed by the ace-king as it happens. I know they may bend it a bit in third seat. I don't think they'd open on queen 10-9 to 6, the 3-bit.
And now you're paying the price, I think, for, you know, when partner can often have a 6-card suit for his preempt, non-vulnerable against vulnerable opponents. So Norse did not bid on here, which would have been winning, would it not? I mean, they should have been in 5 spades. That is a very good result for USA, because 5 spades is only 1 down.
Yes, well, if South had only 6 spades, there'd be more chance of a defensive spade trick for North. It's always a bit tricky to decide to bid 5 over 5, even when you're non-vulnerable against vulnerable.
Yes, but David, if you knew that your partner had 7 spades, would you not take out insurance and bid 5 spades? How much defense do you think you have against 5 clubs if partner has 7 spades?
Well, you might do, yeah. Suppose you might make 7 spade tricks. Maybe 1 heart, maybe 1 club rough. That's 9 already, and you might make 2 hearts or 2 club roughs, yeah. So perhaps you would. Right, now then, I've got a question for the great linguist. Can you say very slowly how West's surname is pronounced?
Rosenberg. Or did you say
the other
West
player?
Oh, I
West,
heard
yes.
it as East. Oh, okay. Sorry. Just kidding. No, I can't do it properly. I'm sorry. I'm not Polish. But I'm sure that someone will send me something phonetically to let me know. I know it means B, B-double-E. Or is it a big B even? Sure. I'm not sure, David. I'm sorry.
Right. Well, I'm going to guess before the phonetic answer comes. I think SZ should be pronounced like double S, so it'll be Pusk Zola. That's my guess, but it's probably something trickier, or they wouldn't have invented the name, nickname Pepsi.
Get anything yet?
Perhaps no one can hear us.
Well, I hope so. We do have a few listeners.
Right, before we decided which table to watch, Roland and I were debating which would be the bigger draw. And at the moment, France-China has it, with 1,080 against our 830.
Scroll down to pronunciation on the page I've just posted the link to. You will hear the proper pronunciation of West's name. It does indeed mean bee or honeybee.
Right, so how many points out of 10 did I score for my guess?
I have no idea because I didn't listen.
I thought it would be Pusk Zola. Oh, not many. I'm getting a private Kibitzer message. Not many points out of 10. I thought it was a very good guess. Right, I'll listen to how it should be said.
Four spades doubled, down one in the other room. So very good start for USA. Board number 3 is also pretty good. One diamond alerted because it can be 3 cards, but only with this exact shape, 4, 4, 3, 2. Because one club for East-West promises at least 3 cards.
Well, that's incomprehensible, that Wiktionary thing. It's got it in phonetic spelling, which is of course incomprehensible to 95% of the population, and if you press the button to hear how it should sound, you just get some horrible, incomprehensible noise. Is it possible that the L is pronounced like a W? That's what it's saying. That's actually an L with a slash in it.
Exactly, that's
So
it.
look,
That is the L with the slash across, isn't it? And that
yes.
is not pronounced as an L.
No, so I think it's Pustzowa. Anyway, we'll call him Pepsi from now on after my low scoring on very, very intelligent guess that I made.
Yes, well this could be interesting in 4 hearts, and I agree, Cubs, that 4 hearts can go down if they play 3 rounds of clubs. Isn't that just an automatic one down then? Yes, that would promote the 10 of hearts. Ace, king of clubs, club. What can declarer do? Ruff with the middle heart. North over ruffs with the jack, and now South is guaranteed a trump trick. What about 3-note trumps, David? Is that a better spot?
Well, that's quite impossible for East to judge that, having discovered with his 2 no trumps that partner has 4 cards for the raise. His hand doesn't look that brilliant for no trumps.
So, Mikael Rivstedt will lead a top club, will get an encouraging 2 from his partner.
Yes, well, the 5-card clubs are unannounced and hidden, of course. So it depends what sort of signal they play in this situation. Pretty unlikely from South's point of view that North has a Doubleton club. So see what he makes of the encouraging 2 if they play attitude signals, reverse attitude.
The partner would never encourage if he didn't have 2, David. Why would he encourage? You trust your partner to do the right thing, so if he follows with the 2, you will continue with the king.
Well, some pairs might switch to count when the ace-king is led and queen-jack are in the dummy. We'll see. See, East may play some middle card now to try and confuse it. He plays the 8, yes.
Of course, South will be wondering, but he trusts his partner. Why would my partner play 2, 5 and clubs? Because he wants me to play a 3rd club. You see, this is a wonderful hand for reverse attitude, David. If you played standard attitude, you see the problem you have here.
Yes.
It's suggested that declarer ruffs with the ace and he makes the contract. Well, I bet against that.
Still got 2 trump losers.
And you have 2 trump losers. And when you ruff lowish, you still have 2 trump losers.
Right, well that's a pretty good hand really for the defence, isn't it? Interesting
Yes.
to see at this exalted level how many pairs manage to survive in 4 hearts.
The interesting point here, David, is, you see, now here, upside down or reverse attitude if you like, works perfectly because you're dealt 2-5. Next time, you're dealt 10-8. And then the 8 isn't that clear, is it? It's just luck, really. Here, reverse attitude is what you like to play. But with 10-8, you like to play standard attitude.
I think it's generally agreed that reverse attitude is superior to standard attitude because you often may not be able to afford a high card to encourage, and you'd be happier just to put your lowest one on to encourage. When it comes to count signals, I think it's exactly as you say, that it's a question of luck which one may be clearer on the day, and I've never seen any particular advantage for reverse counts as opposed to natural count. Right, well there's a very good point from Bill Jacobs, says that Jack 10 Doubleton with North is still catchable.
I think that's what he will do. He will advance the Queen of Hearts. That's his real chance.
So as in the last several morning games, we've started off with some boards full of incident, and we're just hoping that they don't tail away so badly as they have on some of the other days.
Let's see if some pairs get to 3-note trumps. I think 3-note trumps has a chance.
Probably short on values to bid it, aren't they? You'd think from the east hand that you'd need some roughs to come up to a game producing a number of tricks.
This was lucky for Sweden. Board number 3 could have cost them 11 more imps, but it was a flat board. So basically the same auction in the other room. North took 1 bid and 1 bid only after 3 spades by South.
A little bit strange though. East didn't bid 5 clubs straight away.
No, he made a response.
Then did 4 trumps. Gosh, so neither of them fancied bidding clubs, and eventually East did. Well, we can say North had less chance of finding the 5 spade bid at the other table than at our table, because they faffed around for 2 bids before they even mentioned clubs, so he wasn't so confident that they had a big club fit. There we go, that's the expected play, hoping that North has got Jack 10 Doubleton. Very good, so both sides have been card perfect, it seems, and the defenders on the lie of the cards will come out ahead. A well played hand all round.
Now that's a new to me. Scoring, that seems to be auto refresh now. I didn't have to click any F5. I had it up, you know, from the start when it was 0-0 all over. And now when I looked at all the results in the 3 categories, I mean, everything had changed. So it looks like I have auto refresh. That's great. I like it. When we have a moment, David, a draft board, then I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to answer it. No one has been able to answer it just yet, so I'm sure you can.
Right.
Let's see.
So we're praying for a drab board, are we?
We are. Well, this might be it. Four spades.
We'll
Isn't
get
that
one.
pretty drab? This isn't drab, Bill tells me. Is that because you can make slam? Oh yes, yes. Well. Not as the cards lie, but I know what you mean. That there is a possible slam. You can't make it, but you can make a slam try. A slam try is
presumably
to bid
North
the
must
slam
have bid
and
two
try to
hearts,
make it.
surely. Can't believe West bid two hearts. Unless West has diagnosed it's the strong type of multi and wants to confuse the auction. I mean, it looks like North might bid two hearts. Expecting partner has a weak two in hearts. If they play the multi, what do they play?
Yeah, it can be a strong balance. Let me have a look to get it accurately before I say
Yes,
anything.
but they do play the multi well.
They get in with anything, David. You see? You know, West knows that South has the strong hand after the pass. He knows he has the strong balanced hand. So I can believe two hearts.
Well, I'm hearing that two diamonds is 18 to 19 balanced by two different kibitzers.
Yes, it's the Lauria Versace method. They use two diamonds to show
Right.
18-19 balanced, yes.
Okay, so it's not the multi. Well, that explains why North has bid.
Transferring into the opponent's suits. Maybe that shows spades. I would have thought three hearts showed spades, but for them three diamonds show spades when they transfer to the suit overcalled.
Right.
They know
well,
that stuff. They know that stuff.
bidding.
I'm really glad to see that. They
Yeah,
know
no,
what
they
to
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're living together. I suppose they've got all day to practice, and they've made it right. We've got our drab board because this is pretty cold for 11 tricks. They've managed to avoid bidding a slam. So what was this question, Roland, that's going to tax me and make me look a bit foolish?
Right. You know that when a nation has two teams, they can't play in the final. That was changed after the Bermuda Bowl in 1977. Right. So in the Bermuda Bowl now we have USA1 in one bracket and USA2 in the same bracket. That makes sense, because now they can't meet. In the final, they had to meet no later than the semifinals, right? Now you must tell me now, how come that in the seniors, the two USA teams are in two different brackets? Because that will mean that they can meet in the final. Go on, David. I'm eager
Right,
to
well,
hear.
I've got a question for you now. Who on God's earth would expect me to know the answer to that rather than you? Right, that stumped you. Of course I haven't got the faintest idea. It's a bit of a mystery, I agree.
Mystery? Bill Jacobs, maybe? He knows everything. Maybe it doesn't apply in the seniors. Who knows? Of course it does. It applies in the Bermuda Bowl and in the Venice Cup. Why not in the seniors?
Well, the first thing we can rule out is that there's been a bad cock-up by the organisers. That's impossible for that to happen, surely. So, we'll just have to wait and see if anyone is brilliant enough to uncover the answer.
You see, this is what a preempt looks like nowadays, David. This is just an automatic 3 hearts in second seed. If you don't like it, it's because you're too old. If I don't like it, it's because I'm too old. I don't like it. I'm too old.
Well, many players would think they were pushing the boat out to make a weak jump of 2 hearts on that. Their paths would start racing, and they would think they'd been unbelievably bold. Right, well, luckily for South that wasn't intended as exclusion Blackwood.
True, but he has a pretty useless hand anyway. Well, the good news for the Clara is that he has 2 spades and 1 club. But it's not good enough. The King of Diamonds is wasted. It looks like 1 down, doesn't it?
Yes, North was always going to bid to 4 spades, and if anything the 3 heart bid would put him off, so you can't blame the South's bid for them getting what appears to be just too high. But not without play, because if the Ace of Diamonds was on side and they didn't remove the trumps from dummy, well, I suppose they'd had 2 chances to do that. Anyway, no matter, everyone's going to be in 4 spades surely.
I think I have an explanation regarding USA1 and USA2 in the seniors, David. The very, very wise answer is that the brackets will change if they both win. I see.
So it was random that USA 1 and 2 were in the same bracket in the Open. Yeah, that makes very good sense.
Yeah. No, USA won in the seniors, or one of the team, was it USA2? One of them won it, right? They had a choice of brackets. I think that was the case. USA didn't have any choice here. The round-robin winner has chosen who they will face in the semis. Oh, I see. So France did that, yeah. Okay.
Yes, well, all they need to do now is just that West has got to hold on to his clubs, or 4 of them anyway.
And we do indeed have auto refresh. Oh, that's great.
You see that if you were playing 4 spades at match points, then in theory you could take 1 club ruff rather than go for the making the game by leading towards the diamond, which would lie on the ace of diamonds being onside and the defenders not pulling the trumps. Of course, if they pull the trumps, you might get into dummy with the 9. So ace and another trump would put you in dummy and you'd have a discard.
Yes, yes. That wouldn't have helped you much if the lead had been ace of spades.
Yes.
It was scored as 2 down. Yeah. Now what do we do with a 15 count balanced when we don't have a stopper in their suit? We can't overcall 1-no trump, although some do, so we'll have to double. So that's clearly best. Would you have done the same, David? Would you also have doubled if your shape had been 3-3 in the majors? 3-3-3-4 with nothing in diamonds?
Well, I've seen people do it. When they've got a 15 count, they like to get in. So I think probably they would have done, yeah. It's better if you've got 1 4-card major.
Well, I'm asked, what if you're 3-3-4-3 without a diamond stop, 15-16 count? Well, you could double, but you could also overcall 1-no trump, couldn't you, if you really have 4 diamonds? I mean, like a big crime. Here's the problem. I don't know, maybe 2 spades shows 5 cards for them. It could show 5 cards, but they only bid 1 if they only have four cards. I see in must 5 cards.
Wouldn't do for everyone, because 2 spades suggests about 8 to 10 points, just to let your partner know that you don't have a really bad hand. And that'll help him when he's got a little bit extra, like 16, 17 points. And you might, if you had, say, 4 spades and 2 hearts, you might have to bid 2 spades on 4 cards. I'm not saying they don't have an agreement on it, but if you have to have 5 to bid 2 spades, then you're a bit stuck when you've got 10 points and 4 spades, aren't you? You don't like to bid 1 spade on that.
But it has been confirmed that it does show 5 cards, because on the video they showed 5 fingers, a handful of fingers, so 2 spades did show 5.
The textbooks are so clear on the definition of 2 spades that it sometimes amazes me to see people replying 1 spade on 9 or 10 points, you know, which I would regard as a beginner's mistake. How on earth is your partner know whether to go on and let him know when you've got a promising hand like that? When you've got 5 spades, you can add a couple of points for having a 5-card major and just judge whether to bid 1 or 2 on that basis. So 7 with a 5-card suit is worth 9 to 10, and you bid 2 spades on that. If you only had 4, then you might have the king of clubs as well.
4 spades is a lucky make. It will make, well, maybe not so lucky, I don't know, but the contract will make, but they don't really have the values. North couldn't really do more than he did with 3 spades, could he? And South had an absolute minimum for his jump to 2 spades when he had shown 5 spades already.
Well, exactly. I mean, North was, well, he had 15 points, so it's reasonable to bid 3, but with that shape, I mean, take away a queen and you wouldn't think of bidding at all over 2 spades.
Opportunity for Sweden on board number 5, I'm told. They are in slam at the other table, and as I saw it, slam has no play. Isn't that right? That you have a certain spade loser and an outside loser? Let me see. Oh yes, yes indeed. Might be right. Maybe you've seen something I haven't. I don't even think it's double dummy to make 4 spades, is it? Why is it double dummy? Can't see. Never mind. They were not in 4. 13 imps scored now to Sweden.
Well, there doesn't seem to be anything to the play. You're bound to play the king of spades on the first round, hoping that the jack will be doubleton, and when it turns out to be singleton, the finesse against the 9 is marked, and you can't force either hand. Oh, you can force the south hand with a diamond. Is that what they're thinking of?
Yeah, but that's not good enough when hearts behave. I mean, I don't think there's anything double dummy about making 4.
Well, I think the problem is,
West hand?
unbelievable gamble, particularly with the intervention being 1-no trump. Well, it doesn't look like 1-no trump would have done very well. Assuming the defenders start diamonds.
No, nothing is good for north-south, obviously.
Well, I'm also a little bit surprised that North ran to 2 clubs. I mean, that was a step in the dark.
Did you go to the other room, David, to save boards or to look at player names, or not? Or not yet?
Well, I got the player names off BBO now. I'll go to the other room, and I know where they are. Yeah, Moss is north, Gru is south, Nystrom is west, and Upmark is east. I will go and save the boards. Good idea.
Now that was a great gift, obviously. The switch to a low diamond, where Declarer could have inserted the 10, but he was always going to go up with the king here.
Right. Well. Yeah, 1900 spectators on the France-China game, Roland. So there we go. That's 1 brownie point to me.
How many did you say? Sorry, I didn't hear.
1900.
We have what, 1100? Yeah, okay.
Well, coming up to 12. There's not much between it anyway. It's good to see. I mean, we're watching top-class players. No problem with that.
By the way,
Well,
I'd like to compliment you for once. I usually don't do that. But you pronounced the Swedish names in the other room perfectly. Well done. You said Nyström and not Nystrom. And you said Upmark and not Upmark. Wonderful. Well done, Dave.
Right. Well, I think I've proved one thing. I'm capable of doing anything if you tell me about it 12 times. Right, I'm just going to vanish for 10 seconds because I have a personal fan who I told would be able to listen to me if she watched the France games. So I'll just pop over there and tell her that I Didn't break my promise. Right, sad to say, she's so disappointed that she's logged off from BBO. Oh well, that's life.
You have other fans. Now, we don't have Stanley online this morning. He wasn't there the day before yesterday either, but he told me that they had to travel to a grandchild's 4-year birthday. They were away.
Strange sense of priorities. I mean, that's not a special birthday, is it? 4th birthday. It's not like a 21st.
But, you know, who can expect people to be up at 5 a.m. on a Sunday morning? That's what it would be. On the other hand, on the west coast of USA, it would be 2 a.m. and I see a couple from the west coast of USA online now.
Yes, but they're just staying up late. Wine glass in hand. Well, bridge players don't like picking up 4 333 hands, and kibitzers don't like the next board coming up with 2 4 333 hands either. Likely to kill any idea of excitement, but I could be wrong. Right, well, my last comment was complete nonsense, I'm told, because Kibitzer is telling me that 4 333 is his favourite hand shape. There's no way that he can bid it wrong. Yes, I see. Well, this has been alerted, so obviously that's the route to showing a very weak raise to 2 hearts. And to bid it directly, some pairs via a transfer of 2 diamonds is showing more like 7, 8, 9 points. Anyway, we must praise Mikhail Rimstedt for his very accurate evaluation that this is a weak raise.
Yeah, it's probably not Gatsiri. It's a Swedish version of Gatsiri, rather, which came first, actually. Hexan. I'm sure you heard about that, David. The witch.
Yes, oh yes, the dreaded Gazilli. With the 80-page explanation sheet. complete system sheets don't extend to 18 sheets, let alone the description of one convention. Mind you, isn't there a 200-page book on Roman keycard blackwood? Imagine that. Probably a bestseller.
Was it you, by the way, who asked how we spell hexen in Swedish? I can't remember, but here it is again, in case you wanted to know the which.
If I ever ask the spelling of any word, you will know that I've finally gone senile. I see, it's a umlaut, hexen, yeah. Right, well, I'll try to remember. It's a bit difficult when you've got to remember how Swedish player names are pronounced and the spelling of Swedish conventions.
Yes. A spectator asking me a very interesting question, and it is relevant, of course, considering that Southampton won yesterday. Why isn't David more cheerful? They won in overtime, didn't they? Penalty overtime, I think. And you were there, were you not, David? Or did you leave before?
Did I leave before? Nothing annoys me more than people pushing their way in front of you to leave 3 minutes early so they can get home for their cup of tea slightly earlier. I've never left early from any match whatsoever. No, it was an extremely good match, and I may be feeling a bit tired, but that's because I stayed up to watch the match again on television and watch Match of the Day as well, because it was such a good match. And the West Ham defender was so annoyed by the last-minute penalty being given and almost assaulted the referee, so that was extra enjoyment. So in fact, contrary to everything you might hear, I'm in an extremely good mood.
If you're a Swedish supporter, your mood is not that great after board number 7, where the Americans, Grew and Moss, did beat the Spade game.
Ah, well that's interesting, isn't it? It went to diamond double 2 spades, and North went straight to... So, that's Brad Moss. I suppose it might just scrape into the odds that you need for a vulnerable game, but it might not. I think you'd be having to assume that Queen of Hearts was favourite to be on side after the 1 diamond opener to get the percentages up high enough. Now here is where you need to know what a vulnerable 3 spade overcall of 1 no trump is. Some players would expect that to be quite a good hand, I suspect, rather than just being a preempt, particularly when you're vulnerable.
I don't know about that. Is it constructive over a 15-17 no trump? I'm not sure. Why would it be?
What, you think you'd have to just bid 4 with a good hand then?
Yeah. So 4 diamonds was Texas still, showing hearts. North's taking no chances now.
Not taking no chances. What about the 800 chance he's taking?
Well, I see what you mean, but you know, when he didn't bid 5 spades earlier, but they may push them to 5 hearts, and maybe he can defeat that. The thing is that he can't. He can only get 2 trump tricks. Oh, from bad to worse. Well, that's 850.
Well, you see what I mean? He hasn't taken his South 3 spade bid as just a preempt. He's gone to 4 spades, which was 800, and now he's doubling 5 hearts, so he must have expected much more. Mind you, when they go to 5 hearts vulnerable, it's pretty clear his partner's bid was a preempt.
Yeah. Well, the twins haven't had a good set this morning. They've had many. This is not good. They didn't do much right till now, did they?
No, they don't need a 3-3 diamond break, of course, because the ace of spades would have provided a discard. Although you may want that to throw the club away, so yes. Well, they could have gone for 800 in 5 hearts, so this isn't going to cost them much more than that. What is it, 850?
Some tough decisions, most of them from the North Seat, board 2, board 3, board 7, and now board 10.
Right. Well, on board 10, whether I sound grumpy or not, I'm going to say that's a very bad double, because he had no reason to think even that 4 spades would make if it was facing a preempt. So if they've gone wrong, if they have gone wrong and gone to 5 hearts, why would you want to double it? Usually when you preempt and push people to the 5 level at vulnerable, you're happy if they go down. And if it's a make anyway, the double is going to cost you a bit. Tell you one thing I'm happy about, and that is that the lowest contract on our card is 400. 4 4-spade contracts, a 5 clubs and a 6 spades, so no. Right, my personal fan that I mentioned has not signed off, and she tells me that I don't sound grumpy at all, and I'm willing to take her word on the subject. If 2 people tell you different things, you should believe the thing you want to believe. That's my rule.
No, obviously she hasn't been here before. She doesn't know what you sound like when you're grumpy. Really grumpy.
Yes. Well, it's difficult when you really don't agree with some bid or some double to sound anything other than grumpy as you explain why you think it's wrong. Just for some people anyway, it's just a matter with how you're born. I mean, you're just so lucky, Roland, to always be in such a good mood all the time. You know, we all try to emulate you, but not that easy. Particularly with some of the bids you see nowadays. There we are. And backing me up, thank you very much, is a German kibitzer who says that I'm no more grumpy than usual. Well, there you are. This is the experts speaking, our customers, the punters. Thanks very much to him. No more grumpy than usual. That's excellent.
That is not necessarily a compliment.
Yes, I can tell by the way he's written it that there was no smiley face at the end, but I'm sure he meant it as a compliment. Right, the other thing I'm happy about is that there are absolutely plenty of hands to write up. So maybe I am at the right table for getting some good material to write up for the bulletin report.
Thanks to me, you are at the right table. I expect you to send me a card soon.
Right, how many days away is your birthday?
Days? Can I do it in months and days? 1 month and 5 days.
Oh well, I can't remember in a month's time to send you a card. It would just have to be a few words in an email anyway. And there we go with another fairly light negative double.
Earlier he had 5, the same heart suit, more or less, right? But he didn't have an outside jack. Wasn't that the case? He had a 5 count. Ace jack to 5,
Yes.
hearts and out, yes.
And East's bid of one no trump on a third.
Go on, David. Sorry for interrupting.
No. I mean, we both spoke at the same time. You weren't interrupting. I was going to say East's bid of just one no trump on a 13 count, which is absolutely correct. Is absolutely right facing a 1 level overcall, because a 1 level overcall doesn't promise anything much in the way of points. And you know, you might well want to go to 3 no trumps facing an opening bid, but even to bid 2 no trumps facing a 1 level overcall would be an overbid. And you are allowed, of course, to factor into your decision how high to go the fact that the other side has opened and responded. I mean, they may have 10 opposite 6 and you may still have a game on, but I was always very happy to make allowances for the opponent's bidding when judging whether partner had overcalled on points or just some reasonable suit at the 1 level.
Right. Allow me to say that 1 no trump wasn't a normal 1 no trump response. It was a spade raise. A strong spade raise. 3-card raise. Mini Truscott. Do you remember we talked about Mini Truscott the other day? That's exactly what it is. 10 plus high card points with 3 card support. Yeah, that's why it's called Mini.
Why do they want to use that rather than what everyone else uses of bidding 2 clubs on 3 and 2 no trumps on 4?
2 no trumps would show 4 card support. That is Truscott, or Jordan as it's known in USA. So that's why it's called Mini, because it's only 3 card support.
Well, tell me what 2 clubs would have meant then.
Presumably, Dave, especially against the short club.
Oh, they played 2 clubs is natural and 1 no trump shows the spade raise, right? Okay, well, I wouldn't hurry to play that because 1 no trump seems like quite a good bid in a natural sense. probably, and isn't going to waste his king even though he knows that it's dead under the ace queen jack. So he's got a pretty good picture now for the west hand. Not that it may make any difference. He knows he overcalled a spade and is likely to have 5 clubs with it.
What do you make of North's double, I'm asked? Well, it's light, but just about good enough. I would double myself.
As we've seen it twice in this very match, we can assume that that is standard practice at this level.
But of course, a direct 4 spades was a gamble. I mean, East could have been weaker for his 1-note trump than he actually is. Well, you may not lose 2 spade tricks, right? Say you play 2 rounds of diamonds now, discarding a heart, and then a spade up, playing south for the doubleton ace. Can't you get out for 1 spade loser then? Spade to the queen and a spade ducked. Or maybe you can't. Yeah, because you need to finesse in clubs as well, so you can't do everything. That's true.
Whether it has any bearing on this particular layout or not, you can see how important it is for South not to just put his king on a trick 1. It's just a little bit of effort to work out that what the 10 lead means, to always look at the spot cards carefully that partner leads, and you can see that you're giving Declare a bit of extra work to do if he has to finish clubs again. Declare may even think perhaps that the 10 of clubs is a singleton because South did open a club after all. I mean, that may be their bid on all flat hands, but that doesn't mean he hasn't got 4 clubs.
Now it is true. I think Declarer will take 10 tricks and not 11, but he can still take 11 if he doesn't take a pitch. Say he plays diamond to the ace and now a spade up, right? So the club finesse can wait because the king of hearts is an entry. But he would probably not play it like this. He can make an open trick, but that's double dummy.
Well, there's a fair chance the king of hearts will be an entry, but it's by no means certain because how many points are out? There are 18 points out. And he knows about the king of clubs. Yeah, I think South would have bid 2 hearts on almost any opening hand after the double, so I think Declarer knows that the hearts will be 5-3 or even 6-2.
Furthermore, you have a second entry to the dummy if you really play South for doubles and ace of spades to take the club finesse later. But I think he would take 10 and no more.
Yes, well, I don't know that playing him for ace doubleton's any better than playing him for the jack.
So of course this is farewell to the over trick.
Kibitzers are liking Queen of Diamonds return now to remove the entry and force him to decide what to do with it.
Yeah. Well, the ace of hearts isn't necessarily marked when North could have Queen Jack of Diamonds and Queen of Hearts, or Queen Jack of Hearts, Queen Jack of Diamonds even. Would you have let the Queen of Hearts or the Queen of Diamonds if you had those cards? Well, maybe not when he has a double club. No. Well, I was hoping maybe to get a club rough, you short club.
Well, Declarer didn't mind the look of that trick anyway.
He didn't like it?
He didn't mind the look of it, I said.
He was mind. Okay.
Pretty happy. It solved his club finessing problems and also told him the lead wasn't a singleton, so the barometer of probability went shooting up. Now he's able to think about making the play as safe as possible rather than wondering how on earth he could give himself some sort of chance.
Yeah, he is worried about 4-1 spade. That house was dealt ace-jack to force.
Well, I think the strip squeeze doesn't require an elimination position with trumps in both hands. West has to hold on to 2 clubs. Yeah, that's right. He's got to hold on to a top spade and 2 clubs. There's nothing much you can do about it.
No.
That's right. Well,
that's probably
declare as we're,
more.
yeah. That's right. Declare has realised it, drawed all the trumps. Now he just has to run the remaining trumps. So maybe this is the deal, Roland. That makes me happy to have watched this match instead of France-China.
Mm-hmm. In the post-mortem, Pepsi may, tell himself, well, if I play partner for the king of spades, and that's what I do, can it hurt to switch to the queen? And is there a danger if I don't? But that's too late now. But maybe he'll kick himself and say, well, I should have switched to the queen.
I really think he will at this level. Of course, it's unlucky that the 8 and the 7 of spades aren't the other way round. Otherwise, East could have taken care of the 7 of spades threat.
Okay, Bill, you wouldn't. Pepsi wouldn't. No one would then. I say, oh. So obvious afterwards. Yes, I agree. It's not so obvious at the table. When you think about it, if you get it as a problem, obviously you will solve it. But at the table, it's different.
Well, I'm not sure that Bill's right there. Because West had a count on the diamonds after his high diamond lead. Probably knew that Declarer had got 6 hearts. So if Declarer had... Oh, you might have 3 spades and 1 club, you think? Well, that is possible. 2, 3, 4, 4. Yes. Right, well, that would give South a slightly better hand than being 2-2 in the blacks and have more reason to have they found that 2-no trump bid. Yes, I'm told in France-China it was 4 spades -3 by China and 4 spades doubled -2 by France, so we're lucky to be watching a table where the contract is this very interesting 4 hearts.
Interesting also to see what happens at the other table in this match. If they get to 4 spades, we won't see the play in 4 hearts, obviously. Right, now, well, he has to throw the 9 of spades, hoping that his partner has the 8. He simply has to. That's what he is doing, right? He unblocked the Queen of spades, and now he'll throw the 9 of spades. He can see what's coming if Declarer has the 8 of spades. So we didn't see it, but I'm sure, David, that he did throw the 9 of spades now on the last trump, so that the 8 of spades was high.
Indeed. And that was just a great hand to watch, so that's wonderful. So we can definitely say, however grumpy I may sound, I'm not at all grumpy, because I'm really lifted up unto the heavens by that wonderful board.
Because they are in 4 hearts at the other table as well.
Right, well
I better explain 3 spades. It's a transfer to
agreement with Bill Jacobs there. What's the point of bidding 3 spades anyway? Why can't he just bid a diamond? His partner might have any old hand. Look at all the space that's been wasted.
yes, they don't play transfer responses to 1 club. In fact, they dislike them. So 1 diamond. I'm all for 1 diamond myself. Have a gadget, use it. Well, there's the hand for it. I have nothing to protect.
Well,
I want partner to... It's like the partner has a balanced minimum, you know. I'm not so critical. I don't think it's silly. That's what Bill calls it. Spade is a spade. 3 spades is 3 spades.
right, well, I agree. I think it is silly. He's only got two low hearts, and they've got the balance of the points. So what's the point of rushing in with a high bid like that? You could have 5 clubs could be better than 3 no trumps, so anything could be there. I don't see what you're gaining by it.
Well, you are gaining if West has a heart suit. He can get in with hearts over 1 diamond. He can't get in with hearts over 3 spades. And East will be on lead.
Right. Well, haven't persuaded me, and perhaps haven't persuaded Bill. You could always go leaping into 3 no trumps on that reasoning. And this hand has got good potential for a high club contract. If partner's got long clubs, that's the worst point. It's not as if you got queens and jacks. You got ace, ace, king, and a doubleton heart and 3 clubs to the jack. So I just think that's surprising decision to make.
Well, I wouldn't use this tool anyway, Bill. I've never played it. I've never seen it before, actually. So no, well, that wouldn't change anything. If my spades had been hearts, I would have the same problem. Yeah. That interesting board 12, David. Now that is something. You know, at the other table, Nyström cast a top diamond, but switched to a spade at trick 2. And that was the difference. Now you can't make it, can you? If you get that spade switch at trick 2 before you have cashed the king of diamonds. Now the 9 of spades is okay, I think.
Gosh,
Yep.
the 9 of spades
Yes,
was ducked.
Yes. Yep. That's good enough to defeat it if you do not cash a second diamond. If you do cash a second diamond, then you have to switch to the queen. Wow, that was a brilliant defense. How did he find
was
that? Wow.
absolutely wonderful all round. Yeah, that's another great. Had such a good hand and had to cube it before knowing what suit was agreed. Well bid anyway, because North managed to avoid being damaged by that preemptive hurdle put up by the opponents. Oh no, sorry, by his partner. My mistake. And they still got there.
Now, David playing natural. Say if you respond 1 heart, one heart, or would you make a jump shift, forced to game with 2 hearts? I think it's worth it, isn't it?
What, 1 club, 1 diamond, 2 hearts, yes. Yeah, and it's tricky for South. I mean, they could bid 3 clubs now. Or 2 no trumps from the moment, and here 3 hearts showing a 5-6 hand.
Decent contract.
With trumps coming in, you've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 on top, yeah. Well, you can just draw trumps and ruff a heart, so fairly benign lie of the cards.
Or Rose lead to 6 clubs, perhaps. We you'll see at the other table how they bid. They bid standard 2/1 on this board in the other room because they are vulnerable. So Norse will not open a strong club. It's just a natural club.
Well, anyway, declarer doesn't know that the trumps are breaking evenly, so you can be sure he's going to spend quite a time planning this. I'm just going to go and save the boards at the other table. Be back in a moment.
That was indeed a great hand. The board number 12. Wow. The switch to the 9 of spades at trick 2 deserves a prize, really. He knew he had to switch to spades anyway after the second diamond, so why not a trick 2? And that was, well, right. Was it 1 club, 1 diamond, and then a jump shift?
West bid only 1 spade and North 3 bid 2 hearts.
Yeah, so that's a reverse. That, yeah, okay.
I think South bid 2 spades, something like that. South agreed clubs pretty soon, and someone bid 4 no trumps, and the other hand jumped to 6 clubs, so that's the sort of auction. So of course when you see 2 pairs bidding up to 6 clubs, you think, oh well, pretty easy on those cards. I had plenty of good cards. But it's never easy. It's never easy, and slam bidding is one of the most difficult things in this game. A game of many difficult things, and if that board is flat in 1370, then everyone has done well.
Yes, yes. I think the second part of this match has been better than the first part. The bridge has, at least, especially by the twins. They had a dodgy start, didn't they? But then, of course, board 12, Mikael Rimstedt making his contract. That was wonderful.
Well, I rather think that West's defence at the other table was equal in merit to beat it, while Rimstedt made the contract here. They both did well and fully deserved the 12 imps between them.
Yeah, but I said that while you were away, David. But that switch deserves a price, I said. Because Nyström realized that he would have to switch to a spade at trick 3 anyway. So he was just 1 step ahead. I say, why not now, while I still have the king of diamonds? And that was the brilliant thing.
And not one word of complaint was heard. Who could possibly complain at a one-level contract after all the splendours we've seen? And the answer to that question is
No, the slam was indeed flat. I like the lead of the trump, by the way. I know you're not fond of trump leads. I know Bill Jacobs is not fond of trump leads. But I like the trump lead here. I know most, maybe 97% will lead the king of diamonds. I like the trump lead.
most often lead a trump is because you really don't fancy the leads of any of the side suits. You've got awkward honours to lead away from, and you just lead it because you expect the other leads may give away a trick and you want to find a safe lead.
Had to ask in which direction three clubs doubled it is, and now only now did I get north-south are three clubs doubled, and that will not play particularly well. Well, it's not bad. Well, I agree with pass. England in the third seed, 4 triples 3 hand. Yes, I know you have 5 controls, 2 aces and a king, but very flat, no intermediate cards. I don't see any reason to open the north hand.
open a club on 3 to the 6, who would want to do that? There's just nothing much to be gained, is it? You can't imagine that there could be a game on your way. And yet, if your partner had a bad hand and you opened, it's possible you could go for some big number. It's just a sort of lose-lose situation to think of opening on it.
It's quite funny, on board 14 in the other room. North-South at some point were in 2 hearts, redoubled, and then they had to run to 3 clubs.
So, was there some noticeably bad bid that led towards them being in that appallingly expensive contract? Was it just bad luck the way it went?
Yes, maybe it was bad luck. Let's see the entire auction when we get the result in. Many matches are close. Not so in the women's, the match between China and the Netherlands. And are leading by 60 after 13 boards.
Wow, that's incredible. Unbelievable. They wouldn't even have been favourites in that match, I expect. As we see the last few tricks of this part score clicking by, I'll step in. So many wonderful plays. I mean, if there have been any mistakes at all, I can't even remember them at the moment because there's been so much to enjoy. So if this was a play coming to the end, we would all be applauding very loudly, wouldn't we? That's absolutely great. Many thanks to Roland again. We always enjoy being together and commentating on events around the world. And many thanks to all the kibitzers watching. I think you picked a good table as it turned out, and we've seen lots of wonderful plays to remember. Finally, many thanks as always to BBO. Hope no one gets fed up with me always praising them at the end of every session, because they fully deserve it. They give us the chance to get so much pleasure and fun and instruction every day of the year for no payment whatsoever. That's absolutely brilliant. That's a huge contribution to the game that we all love.
Yeah, and of course 16 will always produce something. 2-no trumps. Well, we saw yesterday, do you remember, David? Were you there when Helgamer opened 2-no trumps with a stiff king of spades, and they got to 7-no trumps? Oh, he left. Oh, sorry. Right, that's what he did. And they ended up in 7-no trumps, and they needed something to happen in spades because partner had the singles and ace of clubs. and the club was led. So "12 imps to Sweden," and indeed a new leader. 3 clubs doubled in the other room. Went 4 down for 800. Lost connection, I'm sure.
No, I haven't. I just had to go to the other table to save the boards because they had 3 clubs doubled there. It's just gone for 800. So I definitely wanted that one.
I didn't realise you were away, so I asked you a question. Were you there yesterday when Helgamo opened 2-0 trumps with the singles and king of spades, and they got to 7-0?
No. No, I've only been doing the first session.
Oh, right.
But that's not particularly unusual, is it, to open to no trump with a single king nowadays?
No.
Even one no trump.
They had a 6-1 fit in spades. They had a 4-4 fit in spades. Sorry, in diamonds. and you know, this hand, 7 no trumps you can make. You can make 7 hearts. But not 7 diamonds, although they did at one table. But they played it, you know, many played in 6 diamonds, and some went down to 6 diamonds. It was ace jack to 4 opposite king to 4. But 7 of trumps was interesting in the sense, you know, we have the singles and king of spades opposite ace, queen, jack, 9 to 6, and outside ace. And the problem in 7 no trumps was that you got a club lead, and then there was no entry to the spades, so you just had to hope that they were 3-3 or 10 doubles.
Right, so here Declarer has a discard on the diamond for one of West's clubs, and the hearts break, and it looks fairly benign. So the only problem was to bid it, and well, maybe some pairs will not bid it. It's only 10 opposite 21, but they've got a 5-4 fit. Oh, a break of the transfer. Well, that solves all Rosenberg's problems, doesn't it? Break of the transfer showing a very good spade fit, and then he just bids key card Blackwood, yeah.
And it would be easy to bid at the other table, where West will probably open a strong club, Nyström, and then they will relay their way to 6 spades, I'm sure, showing ZZs on the way, ace, king, queens.
Well, this has been a very well played session, hasn't it, don't you think? I mean, it's rather amazing. There have been so many swings in a way. We can all study them, the big numbers, and come to some conclusion. I haven't yet had time to see how they lost 800 on 14. As this looks to be easy, I'll just take a quick look now.
Well, they earned 3 hearts on the 4-3 fit on board 15. Let's see.
Right, okay, well, North made a very bizarre bid on 14. They opened the club. South overcalled a heart in the next turn, and North raised to 2 hearts. On 10-9x, only ace doubleton of hearts, 2 low and queen to 6. So that was doubled and redoubled, and now North thought, and the redouble was left in by West, so maybe that could have been, if that was understood by East, that West wanted to defend it, that could have cost a lot. So North ran to 3 clubs. Well, that was suicidal by by the North player at the other table,
Mm.
raising on a doubleton. Why would he want to do that?
Now the table may be shut
Mind you, it might...
down, David. So I think we should go to the other tables to see how they bid board 16. This is all over.
Yeah, okay.
And before
I'll
we
just
leave,
save the...
just save the boards. Yeah. Before we leave, I'd just like to say that the play will resume in 1 hour and 15 minutes after the lunch break. Bye for now.